get you guys going. We want to make sure that we do what we always do is prepare you guys to hit the field and hit the field hard. Now, you got a season upon us again where people are out there happy about spending money, and they're spending money on a lot of things that they're going to have regrets about. And so for us, it's our job to make sure that since we're in business, we do good business. We want to make sure that we help people put some of their money in the right place, right? And when you look at where we're at again, we are maybe what a weekend into the month of December, December 7th. So it means that we got a really good 2 weeks left to hit it really hard before the parents, the people who or who pay the bills, the people who make the money, check out with their kids. As soon as the kids come home for good, the parents will go away unless you actually have unless there are people who are focused on their goals and their dreams. Okay, so again, want to make sure we always reiterate that. Um, want to make sure we're putting people in a position where next year, this time, their Christmases are totally different, right? Make sure that next year, this time, there's somebody who was about to buy a toy or something, or buy some clothes or something that they take that money and make a good investment in themselves. And next thing you know, they don't have a job next year this time, right? And that's the thing that we want to make sure we keep focusing on. Because anytime a person gives you an excuse, guys, want to make sure you take that excuse and you give them a reason, and that reason is going to be connected to the whys that they gave you when they first got started. So when the person is doing that game plan session and that 6 steps of success, make sure you always know what their goals and their dreams are, because that's what you get a chance to use to remind them of what they're here for when they get to making bad decisions or questionable decisions or decisions that will put them in a position where they don't, it's not congruent with what they say they want out of life. Okay. So we'll dive into the training right after we do our morning recaps, and so what a weekly recaps. And so as far as our wins, like you heard Carla Wynn say, she wanted to make sure she beat Dale in the boot, and she did. So Carla, go ahead and go first. And give us those wins for the week and what you learned from this week. You on mute, Carla.
Okay. Great morning. Yes, one of the biggest things that I learned this week is the 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 um the beauty of persistent practice, right? So, and the reason why I say that is that once again I had the opportunity along with um my sister Miss Leslie to work out with Miss Johnson on doing the presentations and also watching Dr. Arlene's presentation on Wednesday and seeing the beauty of just, learning to master the craft of delivering the message. So that's one of the things that I learned this week. And also from the training earlier this week, um, as far as what Mr. JC had delivered from the Millionaire Mindset all the way through the Tuesday training and the Wednesday training, various lessons from that. So thank you for allowing me to share.
No, no problem. Good stuff. And I'm glad you went first because you started off with what today is going to be about. Okay, and it's gonna really be more about how to trigger your tipping point. How to make sure that actually happens. And so that's a good way to start by making sure that you're training and doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. So always putting yourself in a position where you're training to get better, not training to make a sale, right? Training to evolve, training to grow, right? And so that's how you increase your value to the market. And but that's also how you take this thing from you not knowing anything to it being like breathing, something that you don't even have to think about. Okay, so great way to start us off. And then yeah, JC's call, his training was a good training. Dale Boudreaux.
Great morning, sir. How's everybody on the team? It's a great Saturday. It's chilly. I'm gonna tell you, those Monday 6 o'clock trainings with Idris and Angel are just
Hmm.
nails, man. I mean, those trainings. This last week's training by Idris on what questions to ask, but not only what questions to ask, why he's asking them adds so much depth to when you speaking to somebody during the week. When that starts coming back to you, just amazing just amazing training. And Angel on role playing. If you're not role playing right now, I don't know what to tell you, because I crafted that my introduction from that training, and I'm telling you, I use it all the time when I'm talking to people, and it works. It's just amazing. That 6 o'clock training, everybody needs to be on that, because it it's $1 million, Mr. Bean. And then the
Mm.
theme from last week about consistency held true for me this week, because I'm crawling in plants all week, but I'm staying plugged in. And that to me is very important, because things go in waves. And when you're in the middle of a wave of something else, you have to stay plugged in. And that's why the system's very, very important. That's what I have this week. I appreciate everybody on this call. Thank you, Mr. Bean.
Yes, sir. And again, and that's a good thing that we are talking about these things even before we train on these things. It just means that we're going in the right direction. And I get excited about, that, when I hear you guys talking about, the trainings, the parts of the systems that are actually working for you. And it's working for those who will plug into them. It's just like, some people sleep with a Bible next to their desk, next to their, on a nightstand next to their bed, but that Bible has been there, but it hasn't been cracked open in a while or at all. And
Mm.
so at day, you got some people live right across the street from the library, or some people have a little library in their house, with books all over the place, or they have, access to free, audio from YouTube, right? And but you have it, but you don't use it. And so again, it's one thing when you're in the company, and you tell people that you want to make a six-figure income, on an annual basis or even on a monthly basis, but you won't even do six-figure studies, right? Is your personal development level congruent to the income you say you want to actually earn? And it has nothing to do with what we do. I'm talking about in life in general. This parallels everything, right? So that's that six-figure situation that you're looking for. You're gonna have to be a six-figure student. Okay. That seven-figure situation that you're looking for, you're gonna have to be a seven-figure student. Yeah. What do you think that people who make six figures a month, what do you think their study habits, right? And so we talking about the average millionaire out there reads about 5 books a month, and they don't just read 5 books, in random books, fiction, storytelling books, and whatever, sports books. They read 5 books a month based on what they do for a living and how to get better at it. And, and so if you were on the job clocking in and you were on 90-day probation, and they basically said, we'll let you keep your job, based on, how well you evolve, how much you learn, how fast you grasp the system. Some of y'all wouldn't sleep for a job, but you sleep on your freedom, right? You sleep on a way out of the job, but you would not, you would 90 days straight, you would be drinking coffee and on some caffeine of some sort, with toothpicks on your eyelids like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, trying to stay up to study everything you can for a 9 to 5. Okay? But when it comes to your freedom, people got to beg you to come to training. I'm not talking about y'all. Y'all here. Y'all are usual suspects. But the people who need trainings like this, they're not here, right? The people who need to be, a seven-figure person, want to be a seven-figure person, never on a millionaire mentorship call. Why would you tell people that, which is, again, contradictory? Why would you tell people you want to be a millionaire, you won't even get on a millionaire mentorship call that's free? That's crazy. So again, you got Idris out here teaching you guys, again, one of our main cogs, our flagship service is solar. And he's giving you opportunities to tap into what he's teaching every other Monday, and you don't do that, right? He's showing you how to close the deal, get to the deal, how to have the best presentations out there, and you won't go and watch those trainings. Those trainings should be packed out, right? And you got Angel, again, who's just equally as important, because you got to get them to Idris. You got to get them to a closer. You got to get them to Wendy. You got to get them to Dennis. You got to get them to, whoever's closing. But you can't get them to the closer if you don't know what to say. Role playing is we don't do it, guys, just to occupy your time. Okay, we do it to occupy your mind. We want to make sure that, remember, what has access to your mind and abundance controls your brain, and that becomes your navigational system. So, if you're listening to me on Saturdays, you're listening to Idris and Angel on Mondays, right? You're listening to whoever's training the Millionaire Mentorship Call on Monday nights, right? You listen to whatever books and tapes and audios you got going on. These are the things that you need to be, pouring yourself into, right? So I appreciate you, Dale, backing it up. Just doubling down on what Carla said. So next one is Jeremy Dennis.
It's funny that, well, first I want to say thank you for everything that you do for us, you and Mrs. Bean. But it's funny that you bring this up and then you ask me to get on, because the reason why I'm saying that is because the trainings are so important, because you learn what to say to people when they give you an answer that you don't want. So I'm going to give you an example. Tomorrow or yesterday, I was in a restaurant, and there was a guy in there that was dressed differently that normally ain't in there. So I talked to him and asked him what his position is in a restaurant. And he's a big guy for 2,600 restaurants. So I started giving my pitch, and then he said, well, I don't know if we're in a financial position to take on, going solar. I said, well, that's no problem. I said, I can get you solar with no money down. And then I said, I can put EV chargers in all 2,600 locations that you have and generate income to where that income will pay for your solar. So now will you only be making money? It'll pay for your solar, but it also will replace your electric bill in most instances. So it's just being consistent and going to these trainings. And then I've learned from you that practicing your lines and practicing everything, that once you keep doing it, everything will just keep flowing just right off your tongue. I could probably called over 120, 130 realtors this week, and my line just kept on getting better and better because my memory just knew exactly what to say. But that's what I had to say this week.
That's good, and that's key. Also, that's why we call them wins. Again, a win is when you know for a fact that you're having a conversation that you couldn't have when you first got started. That's a win, right? And you're initiating the conversation. You didn't wait to get lucky. You didn't wait for somebody to present itself and start talking to you about solar and what you think about solar. No, you went in there and you got somebody's attention, and you were able to come back and not be confrontational with anything, because that's what most people do when they get a little kickback, a little pushback or something. It may not even be nothing major, but they get emotional, get confrontational about it. But all you have to do is, just go back to that well file that you created, like T. Harv Eker says, that well file that you created up here, based on what you heard repetitiously over and over and over again, and that conversations that you had over and over and over again, and all of a sudden it comes back like breathing again. It plugs in, it fills in the gaps, and people, when it fills in the gaps like that, people know that they're dealing with a professional. Right? They know they're dealing with somebody who knows what they're doing. So you didn't have to, have your eyes rolled to the back left of your head so you can think about what to say. It was just, again, boom, boom, flowing like Bruce Lee said, like water. Right? And so again, keep on knocking those doors, Jeremy. Keep on making those phone calls, because the fact that you had not just a rebut or a retort or whatever you want to call it for, them saying that they're not in a position of it, you're not in the position not to go solar with us. You know how much money you're leaving on the table, right? You think about what you just said. You can't afford. You don't know if you're in a position, which means that financially you don't know if you're ready or not. Well, right now other companies are getting ready, or more other companies are getting better. Your competition's out there putting solar on their businesses. They're putting EV systems out there, and they're also offsetting their bills. So not only are they paying a lower bill or no bill at all, they're making money on the system that we're installing. So we definitely need to have a conversation. Okay. And so that's what you did. And that flows. And I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Uh,
he took the card right after. He's like, I want that card now. So
and another thing, you've been calling realtors and you've been knocking and hitting realtors up from Florida, different cities, different states. We had a three-way yesterday, and it went well. And so again, obviously, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. You're not just hitting businesses up. You know, you're hitting realtors up, and you're not just hitting realtors up in your area. You're hitting realtors up in different cities and different states. And so, man, keep on grinding, bro. I'm loving the energy. I'm loving the feedback. I'm loving the evolution that's happening right in front of our very eyes. Appreciate you.
thank you, sir.
All right. Sure. Mr. Alaka, good morning.
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning. I just want to say, once again, big shout out to you, Mr. Bean, for creating this environment for leadership and development, right? It's a big deal. Obviously, I'm sure everyone in the organization here can see, the growth and the development and, as people kind of like take that step up, and step into their own roles of leadership. So I appreciate you for really just setting that environment for everyone here. In addition to that, a big shout out to Mr. Meadows, James Meadows. Obviously, we were in talks for his deal personally a while ago, but not only did he do it, but he's doing it right before his launch. So, to have that confidence and going into the business launch and, speaking to other possible recruits and things of that nature, but really just having that confidence of, I've done this myself is going to be huge. So definitely looking forward to that. Also to, I think, Christopher and Priscilla, I'm not sure if they're on the call, but I know they got me on a consultation last night with older gentlemen, and we went through the whole consultation, and everything was good. But his wife jumped on afterwards and she said, listen, we need this, right? I don't care about the offset, it's $100,000 system. We don't even care about that. My husband has a breathing machine and he needs to have this on 24/7. They've never had a blackout in their house, but they had one recently with the storm in Georgia or whatever the case may be. They were basically saying like, listen, whatever we need to do to get this so we can be, protected and have the blackout protection is going to be huge for us. So whatever we need to do, just let me know. And once again, it just gave me a greater sense of pride of everything that we do literally on a day-to-day basis. So as we're, making calls and, we're listening to, Angel as far as like how to role play and book appointments, and you're listening to some of the other trainings as well. Just know that this is not just about money. We're literally out here saving lives on a day-to-day basis. So with that, I'll pass it back over to you. Appreciate it.
Man, if y'all not using that in a presentation or in a conversation, that's a $1 million nugget right there. That's a game changer. Because people always say, yeah, we don't use, we don't need blackout protection. Well, you may not. Yeah. Do you know anybody who has a life support system that they live on that need electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Because down in Texas, we literally had 44 people die, in one storm, and 39 people die in another storm based on the fact they didn't have electricity or blackout protection. As a matter of fact, we have a gentleman who's one of our experts, one of our mentors, Idris Salaka. He just did a deal where they don't have blackout protection, but based on them experiencing a blackout, not having electricity, for someone who's in that home who needed, a breathing machine to be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that person, they got a chance to experience what life would be like, in that moment, and they don't want to face that moment again. So they went on and got the blackout protection because, again, this is about saving somebody's life, just like Mr. Locke just said. So, guys, when you're on these trainings, don't just be on these trainings, right? Okay. Get this information. I told you, the person who makes the most money is not necessarily the person who's the most skillful. Okay. The person who makes the most money is the best trained person and the person who tells the best stories. Period. All right. Just telling, because if you're learning how to take each and every last scenario, that you hear on these calls, and you now start to create, a little, a journal, if you will, of testimonials on different things on different levels. Again, it gives you, it gives you the ability to be more dangerous than anybody, when it comes to your counterparts. Again, yeah, when you hear these guys on social media, a lot of you guys follow a lot of different salespeople on social media. They're not on social media using the stuff that they learned 2 years ago or 3 years ago. They're on social media using stuff they learned yesterday. They're getting a nugget right away and going right on social media using it the same day or the next day. They're applying it right away. Or they're having a conversation or a presentation with somebody the very, very next day. They know how to educate, practice, drill, and rehearse. Okay. And so you might want to write that down. They know how to educate. Yeah. Because when you educate yourself, you're not just going out looking for information. And you're going out there looking for specific information that's, that's catered to what you do for a living. Right. So when I joined this company, most of the information, if not all of it, I looked for was on solar. And so you guys know, I talked to y'all about me recording all of my phone calls that JC did for me, three ways, lifelines, when it came to solar, presentation, anything he had going. I consumed that stuff. I immersed myself, submerged myself in it, and I just took the information and had the information become a part of me. And then I started using it in presentations. Okay. And presentations, I'm gonna tell you right now, is just every day my presentation is getting better because my information is getting better. Every day my conversation is getting better because my education and my repetitious conversation on new information is getting better. Right? Educate, educate, educate yourself. And always, again, continue to get yourself trained every day. Grant Cardone, guys, y'all know we literally was in that system for years, right? And we now still have an annex right now set up that's dedicated for you guys, who are actually builders. You have access to that training. It's free to you. I pay $10,000 down and $2,900 a month for that information, right? So, and that did that for years, just so you guys can be educated. Even those of you who are not here, just so you guys can still be educated, indirectly by the information from the people who learned it back in the day. So when you're getting, role playing advice from Angel, you're getting, again, a lot of the stuff that she learned from Grant Cardone. But they said, wait, there's more. At 6 o'clock in the morning, Omi releases a training every day from the Grant Cardone role playing segments. Yeah? And so when you're in there, a lot of it may not pertain to you, but a lot of it may. You don't know. If you're not on those trains today because of what you did here yesterday, shame on you. Yeah, it's about consistency. Because at some point in time, one day, they're going to say something, and it's going to trigger something. It's going to trigger a six-figure movement in you, or it's going to trigger a seven-figure movement in you, or it's going to trigger a builder, 500 movement in you. It's going to trigger something in you, and you're going to see that, you're going to hear that, and then you're going to record it or run it back. You're going to write it down, and you're going to drill it because you just heard something that's going to change somebody's life. Right? So when we went to again California, when we was at the Mentor Factory, right, and Danny Pesci came in, immediately, as when he said, that you're already paying for solar, that was all I ever needed to hear. That took care of my whole trip. That one little nugget, because everything y'all know when y'all hear me present now, my conversations, my education is all based on that one thing alone. The ignorance of people who are paying a bill. Okay? That's man, look, that right there, my whole entire everything has evolved around that premise. Because people don't know. They're ignorant to what they're paying, they're ignorant to what's on their bill, they're ignorant to the manipulation, they're ignorant to, how they're funding somebody else's, solar farms. And when people are brought into the light, they get a chance to make a decision, whether they make the right decision or not. I just need to make sure enough people know what's going on behind the scenes. People look at their bill, have zero idea what they're looking at. And right now I have a task force that I'm trying to assemble right now of people who are going to go out here and master these bills so they can do some trainings, for the group about what's on an actual bill, right? And how to break it down. Y'all use some of Chris Hart stuff. Chris, again, there's a lot of really good stuff that Chris talks about. And again, it's taking my education level to the next level. Listen to Idris, takes my education level to the next level. As you can learn from anybody. You can even learn from your enemies. I still do. I have people I that repulse me, but based on the fact that they have information that's vital to your success, you know, I must watch them, listen to them, be repulsed by them. At the same time, I'm growing using that information because, again, I can't use that as a reason or excuse to help you fail, because that's what it's because at that point in time, that's what amateurs do. Amateurs do business based on emotion and how they feel. Professionals do business based on what they need to do, what they have to do, what they must do. And that's what they use to guide their activities, not their emotions. That's what rookies do and amateurs do. They do things based on how they feel. So I appreciate you, just good stuff, and also great presentation again. Everybody loved that presentation. Let's see here. Laura Johnson.
Great morning, great morning. Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm so grateful for you, Mr. Bean, and the system that you have set up for us, because it brings to me a couple of letters of the alphabet. Number one, you were talking about E for education. We have to educate ourselves, and you've given us everything that we need to educate ourselves so that we can evolve into the person that we need to be able to appreciate and to receive everything that we're getting. But then the other letters that came to me were the letter C. The letter C for what you were saying about this time of the year, people going into a cocoon. They go into a cocoon and they're just sitting there. Sometimes we think they're sitting there doing nothing, but sometimes they're sitting there and they are changing like a butterfly changes inside the cocoon. But the thing about it is that we have to be consistent, consistent. Because while we're in this cocoon, because everybody else is not paying attention, we have to work. We have to continue to share what we have. We have to continue to tell everyone what we're doing. Because when we're in that cocoon, when we're telling everybody, work works. The consistency of work works. And it becomes a catalyst to an explosion that will happen as we go into the new year. So one of my wins this week was because I have my solar panels on my roof. Someone passed by my house. They asked my sister-in-law about it. She told me who they were. I called them up. They're very interested. They're interested in the new year. It doesn't matter. I got information. I got intel, like Idris showed us how to get intel. I know who their electric company is. I know what their average bill is. I know, and I also got permission to call them the second week of the year. And they in their mind, I wasn't going to try to fight their mental block, but now they're on my list for that time. So work works, and to be able to do the work, we got to get out of our last C, which is our comfort zone. Because sometimes we want to be in our comfort zone and work from within our comfort zone, but we got to get out of our comfort zone. Carla told you that we started doing presentations. So far, we just did them to ourselves so that we can get it right. But starting next Friday at 7:30 p.m., we are opening up. We're going to be doing our presentations to, our team members, and we want your support. And so that's really what I wanted to share with you, that work works. Get out of your cocoon, or if you're staying in your cocoon, be consistent so that you have a catalyst to big change and educate yourself for evolution. Thanks, Mr. Bean, for allowing me to share.
I'm talking about being a walking, living, breathing billboard of solar. First of all, you got to respect what a person says. You don't have to accept it. You have to respect it, right? So if a person tells you this is what I want to do, and this is a time limit I want to do, that's fine. You know what? I totally agree. That's when you should do it. Okay. And so while we're waiting on that day, this is where your value proposition kicks in. Why don't I get your information like you did? And why don't I share it with you the savings that it will be like you did? Like I said, and now you got the bill. The most important thing is because now you get a chance to call back even before as a follow-up mechanism and say, hey, look, I'm just looking at your bill. And you may not notice, but there's a section on here when it comes to your bill, where they're actually paying for solar on the solar farms. That this company actually owns an electric company, a solar field, solar farm, and you're paying for, solar. You didn't know that, but and that's the other thing is also based on how many people are in that area that have electricity. Find out if it's a million, half a million, 2 million people for that electric company, that specific electric company, right? How many people, not even in the area, how many people for that electric company pay a bill every month? If it's a million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, and then when you actually get that number, multiply that number that's on their bill and say, this is what they're making every month. This is what they are using every month to build their solar fields while you are thinking about going solar yourself. So I just wanted to kind of give you, I know we're meeting in a week and a half later, or 3 weeks from now, but or next week. But I wanted to kind of give you this as a just a little bit of insight to make sure you see what's going on. And so now it's a way to come back. It's a follow-up mechanism, right? Because what what you say, when it comes to the follow-up, guys, the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay, but your future is in the follow-through, right? And so again, having them watch that, look at that bill, breaking that bill down. If you find one or two things on that bill, right, that lets them know that there's manipulation involved, lets them know that they're paying for something that they are telling people publicly they shouldn't do, or they're fighting publicly that they shouldn't do, right? You got me paying full price for fossil fuels that you're not even using, and you're using solar to power my house, and I can be using solar. Come on, man. So that's an insult, right? That's an insult. And so they want people to be uneducated. That's how you suppress people, period. Saying about race, you suppress people, period, when you actually make sure that they're in the dark, when keep them ignorant, right? Make sure they don't know. So empower your people. Great job, Laura. Let's see, Mr. And by the way, it's easy to sell solar when you have them on your house. I'm just telling you. So Chris McHenry, be a product of the product. Let's go, sir. Good morning.
Morning. Once again, thank you for setting this up and having time out of your day to train all of us and continuously pour into us. This week's win was I took some time off. I took some time off with my family. We went to Big Bear, played in a little bit of snow that it was, and I came back Thursday morning. JC called me and said, "Hey, can you present tonight?" I could have said no because I just got back, and I said, "No, you know what? Yeah, I can present." And most of you that were on that call probably got one of the best presentations that I've ever done. And one of the builders that I think the saying is, "Don't fall in love with a recruit." We all say
Right.
that. But you can like a recruit. You can just don't fall in love with them. And my consistency on posting and just keeping people abreast. Tammy is one of my core builders. She owns a commercial lending practice, and I've been in her ear like, "Hey, we need to get Zena. Like she's a builder. Like I see her activity." And she's like, "Yeah, I talked to her. She knows about it, but she's just kind of like she's into this other thing." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, just try and get her on one of these calls. Try and get her on one of these calls." I texted her, tried to do a one-on-one with her, no luck. And I said, "All right, well, just keep posting, keep sharing my posts." And she jumped on Thursday. She texted Tammy after that and said, "That is the best presentation I've ever heard." And then she signed up the next day. So it's consistency and just continuously doing it. And I could have easily said, "You know what? I just got back from vacation. I don't have the energy. I don't have the time to do it." But I got back. I joined the call, presented. One of the other things that two other things, I'll make these short, was this was the only presentation I got messages with notes. So that lets me know that I'm on another level of presenting, because I got text messages and saying like, "Hey, I gathered this from your presentation. Hey, this was a great job. Look at all these notes I took." And that didn't happen before. And most of like most of my one hitters are on the fly. Like I'm just on the fly off the rip. I just shoot out, shoot, and most of them. And I just had a different energy on Thursday. It was just I had a different energy. I was relaxed, took time with my family. We And then the other thing is I'm competitive. So I'm seeing everyone else. I'm seeing Jeremy hitting up 20 and 30 realtors on the phone. And I'm seeing Roxy and Matthew having all these launches. And I'm like, okay, all right, so now it's time to play. So let's get going. And it's fun to be competitive with the people you also want to win. So so I have, whenever you see these messages, I want everybody to win. So when I'm seeing somebody else win, I'm like, man, okay, I want to go do that. Let me go figure out how I can do that. And then I'm going to throw that back in your face so you can do better than I did last time. And then I should be stepping it up the next time. So this week was just really good. And a lot of things that I learned from the Millionaire Mentor calls. I wasn't on the call this week, but a lot of the things that I've learned in the past and I've learned on my one-on-ones and in my three-way calls, I've implemented that in other parts of my life. And people are like complimenting me that I'm so much better than other people because I'm implementing. And I was already good, but they're like, you're like, what are you doing now? Like, you're implementing it. I'm taking all the things that I'm learning from these calls and adding more to my arsenal. And as a leader and as our mentors, you should always be wanting to add more to your portfolio. Like Mr. Bean says, like, he went to this training, he immediately implemented this in his presentation the next day. So I'm starting to do that now. When I'm talking to people, it's just a different conversation. Like, I had somebody leave the organization the other day, and I said, okay, cool, it's probably not a fit for you. You probably should be leaving. And that was it. And they were like, what? Wait, what? Why? Like, you're not going to stop and save me? I said, no. I said, good luck on your next venture, because this probably isn't a fit for you. So the attitude and all of that is changing. So people are now like, all of us that are on these calls, we're all leaders. So our emotion, our attitude needs to be presented as a leader, so that one of the things that I said on the call was, I don't have recruits, I have partners. So I'm not out recruiting people, I'm out getting partners into my business. And I took that away from one of my builders. She said, you're never going to get her because she doesn't like to be recruited. She's unrecruitable. Her sentence says she's unrecruitable. So I said, okay, well, let me figure out a different way to approach people that I know are probably larger in life than me. They probably have a larger organization than me. They don't want to be recruited. So it's, hey, I have this great opportunity. I'd love to partner with you on it. So that's how I've changed my talk track. So I'm not recruiting people anymore. I'm bringing them into this business as a partner, and we all have the same opportunity. So that's my win for this week. And thank you, Mr. Bean, always for throwing nuggets and all the presentations. Even if I don't attend them, I'm going back and watching them afterwards. So I'm gathering information.
Gotcha. Like I said, the crazy part about it is, as those repetitions, most of y'all have zero idea how good y'all can be. Like, really, you don't get, a lot of y'all don't give yourself enough credit, but you also don't give yourself enough opportunities. Those presentations, those conversations, like Laura said back, they're presenting to each other. Grant Cardone used to go into the office every morning and say, tell me, you can't afford me. Tell me you can't do this. And that's how he would get warmed up for the day when it comes to rebuttals. But at the same time, like you said, people who are great at what they do can be better, right? Think about, when you look at a company right now, guys, we probably have about 60 to 70 mentors in this company when it comes to solar. Okay. What differentiates you from everybody else? Okay. What what can you do, or what can you say, or how can you perform? What is your brand, right, that you're building that's going to make people say, well, I don't want to deal with Wendy instead of Idris today, or I want to deal with Idris instead of Roberto today. I want to deal with Matt instead of Thomas today. What is it that's going to stick out? I want to hear this presenter as opposed to this presenter today. What is it about your, evolution? What is it about your brand, the thing that you're working on, the skill that you're honing right now, that's going to put people in a position where they want to hear from you. They want to be attached to you. They want to be a part of your team, even though they can't be a part of your team. But it's just that thing that they're seeing that they want to have access to learn, master, grow with, or utilize as a third party opportunity for them to help them make more money. right? That's the thing. You have to set yourself aside. So when it comes to presenting, I already know that, I'm not the best presenter in the world by any stretch of the imagination. I'm probably better prepared than most people, right? And so I study people. I figure out what people need, what people want, what people fear, what people, what they're going through, growing through, and then I actually deliver what I call solutions. And all my presentations and all my stories are solution oriented, right? And so when you look at Chris, again, and what he's doing, he said from day one, he's going to be a builder, 8,000 and above, right? And so, but you can't be a builder if you're not a presenter. That doesn't work like that, right? This is not an add water situation. It's, and he's now not just started presenting for his team, but he's now started presenting for the company. And the good thing about it is when you actually present so much and you do it so much, you don't have to, get ready because you're already ready. You know, just like Will Smith said, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready, right? If you stay presenting and you stay in that flow, in that vein, yeah, you can come right off a plane and do a presentation. Easy, with no problem. So it's not one of those things where you just talking like you know what you're doing. You're actually out there doing it. And so keep it up, Chris. Like I said, you're out there getting it, you're out there grinding, you're out there growing your team, that confidence and everything else. Again, when you actually start to, like I said, save a person's life, when a person says, I'm gonna leave or whatever, yeah, you're best off letting them leave. Okay. Because when you beg them to stay, if they stay, you're gonna have to beg them to do something. You got to beg them to train. You got to beg them to, earn money. You got to beg them to save their life. And I'm just telling you, I'm not in the begging business. And and people will, people want to be in places where it's strange how people, how in high school you had guys who were great guys and they chased after these beautiful women, right? In school. But the beautiful women chased after the jocks, right? But the more and more the jocks ran, the fast the women ran, the fast women ran, the fast the good guy ran. They all running after somebody who don't want them, right? And so it's the same thing when you show a person that you don't need them, right? That's when the change in that person happens. Whoa, well, they don't need me. Yeah, now you see my activity. You see me presenting every day. You see me presenting for the company now, right? You see me turning in deals. You see me, I'm over here having vacation with my family, based off the money I earn and the lifestyle I live. No, we don't need you. We'd love to have you. But and you don't say it, but it's just they look, I wish you well in everything you do. That says I don't need you. You know, if you need any advice on anything, call me. My phone line's still open. It's not being petty. It's being available. Okay. And so at some point in time, as this company continues to grow, as the company continues to evolve, and they see that you're evolving and growing with it, and even in some situations faster than the company, they'll come back if they ever leave. You got some people. Remember we talk about the incubators, guys. Remember you're gonna have, if you're doing the 2020, you're gonna have 6 on the left and 6 on the right who are gonna quit. And there's nothing that you could do about it. Like if trying to find out why they quit is signing up for a class like Jim Rome says, I wouldn't sign up for that class. Let them quit. Let quitters quit, right? And then you got the 6 on the left and 6 on the right that are going to be incubators. Those are people who are going to be in the business. You may not hear from them, but they're watching you to see if you're evolving. They're watching you to see if you're growing. They're watching you to see if you're building. They're watching to see if you're presenting. They're watching you to see if you're bringing in deals and utility bills. They're watching you. And half of them are either going to quit because they didn't see what they want, right, through you. And the other half, then they're going to start to do what the last 6 and 6 are going to do, which is build it big, right? Those are the people who are going to build it in spite of you. I don't have to worry about, I don't call Angel, are you going to do something today? Angel do something every day, all day. I have to call Brenda, you going to do something today? No, those are people who are going to build it in spite of me, right? Dr. Arlene, building it in spite of me, right? Landon, building it in spite of me. Roxy, Roberto, Dale, Laura, man, I don't have to ask. These are the people who are going to build it, and you can't get to those people until you get to those numbers. But just know that in order to figure out who is who, you got to put mass numbers of people in, right? When it comes to building. Some of y'all are trying to keep quitters from quitting. right? And that's a bad situation, because when you focus on the quitters and the incubators who are not doing anything and who are quitting, what happens is you're not paying attention to the builders who need your support, your encouragement, the people who need you to recognize them for the good that they're doing and for the lifeline that they're giving you in your business. And so you got to take that energy and put that on the people who, that's why I said, I don't care. I know how many people I have in my portfolio. So this is a nice number of people, but it's not about that nice number of people, because those people, again, don't move the group. This is the number of people that moves the group. The people who you see in trainings every week, those are the people who move your group. Those are the people who you create wealth with and around. Those are the people who you put your resources in. Those are the markets that you go to. Those are the people who you do 3 ways and lifelines for. That's how you make your fortune. Remember, my biggest build, we had over 200,000 people come through that company at some point in time. Not at the same time, at some point in time, 200,000 people. And it was only 18 to 20 legs of businesses, 18 to 20 points of distribution, 18 to 20 access points that I work with and I focus on that brought those 200,000 people in. Okay. You can coach the masses, but you mentor the few. So the people who are here that have conversations with me on a regular basis, these are coaching in some levels, mentoring in other levels, but I'm not out there talking to the masses. I'm not, no, because when you get to begging people, that puts you in a position where you look like the needy one. Okay. You're trying to help them and they've misconstrued your passion for helping people and the passion for you helping them get to the goal that they tell you that they want to hit. They think that you need them. And this is what helps them justify the fact that you need them, is that they don't see you doing anything with anybody else. So now you validated the fact that, oh, you need me, even though they haven't did a thing. Remember, I told you, broke people have a warped sense of thinking, right? You have people who are irrelevant who think they're irrelevant to people who don't need them, right? And so, like, you have people say, well, I'm not going to vote. You don't have to vote. Somebody's going to vote. Somebody's going to win. Whether it's rigged or whether it's justified, there's going to be enough people in that ballot box to vote. Just like it's going to be enough people in this company for this company to get where it's going, right? You don't need, remember, the one thing you don't need is a specific person in this company. So don't feel like you need anybody that's in your group right now. Okay. All you need is people who see the vision of the company, people who respect you, and people who are willing to get in the trenches with you, roll their sleeves up and go out there and make a fortune with you. Go out there and make a difference with you. That's what you need. Your favorites, I'm gonna just tell you, keep your favorites for your off time, unless your favorites are your core team. Yeah. But some of y'all have emotional favorites, friend favorites, family favorites, and y'all do more for them than the people who deserve the favor. Hey, you can't do business like that. Because when people see, like, if he just sees me giving somebody, all the leads, and I'm giving it to somebody who's not qualified, they're not even closing any of the leads. At some point in time, like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something different. When he sees me, again, saying, you know what, I got people in that area, in the same area she's in, but I'm giving them all the leads. But I'm giving them all the leads because we cool, even though she may be more qualified. That people see that. People are not dumb. People are not stupid. People, like I said, again, you got to watch how you move. The clicks, get away from the clicks too. Okay. So associate with winners, associate with experts, associate with people who are in your group grinding, right? And teach them how to do that same association down in depth. That's when you will now have a brokerage, guys, that will blow up. Remax, when you look at Remax as an example, Remax is a brokerage, right? And when I was in South Africa, not South Africa, when I was in Kenya, right, years ago, back in 2016, I had an opportunity to open up a brokerage, one of the first actual Remax office over there. And the only reason I didn't is because I wasn't planning on traveling back and forth to Kenya like that. But I had the opportunity to open up the very first office in Kenya, Remax wise. Now there are a lot of offices out there, right? But the fact that I live here in America and they were expanding, Remax was expanding around the world. and I had a chance to actually have one, that positioning and timing would have been impeccable for me had I wanted to actually do business in that region. Some of y'all have no idea what's coming. Mr. Winston's, he's got, let's just say he's been taking trips. And these trips that he's been taking, are putting us in a position where we will be going international sooner than later. And if you're one of these people, you're just hanging around, sticking around, and thinking that this is just a solar company or just a water filtration company, man, you're going to miss the boat. You're going to be behind the power curve, and you're going to leave a lot of money on the table, and you're going to leave most of that money on the table. One, because you're not prepared. Also, that's the other thing. If you have momentum, the people who are in momentum, the people who are actually growing and they're building their business and they're evolving as leaders, evolving as presenters, evolving as trainers, right? Those are the people who are going to make a flat out fortune because they will be prepared for the shift. Okay, they will be prepared for the shift. So again, let's make sure we're out there, we're out here mastering our trades, mastering our craft. Kyrie.
Fantastic morning, sir, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Bean, once again for your leadership and just creating this atmosphere for us to grow and germinate and so forth. This has been a fantastic week. One thing I will say before anything, you said something last month at the beginning of last month, something to the effect of this month is over. It was just like within the first couple of days. And I was like, okay, but you blink and it really was over because again, the lulls and the holiday seasons and all of that. So yeah, I was like, I said, nah, that's not going to happen the month of December. So long story short, my little one, she's been homeschooled for a year, but we just got her in, she's in an art focused school in the Wall Street area, which is ironically my old stomping grounds. So I found an office, a Starbucks office in my very first building that I worked in on Wall Street. I got in there, get my coffee, so forth. And there was this young lady, she was kind enough to allow me to sit next to her and just get my coffee. But then when the table opened up, she and I were speaking prior, but I found her very interesting. So I came back and sat next with her. So we talked and so forth. And she actually asked what I do. And I, mentioned solar and so forth. So she was literally looking. So what I did was I sent her the video, one of your presentations, and we're there talking, and she glances at it. So anyway, that was on a Monday. That was a Millionaire Mentorship call. I invited her to that. She loved what she heard. Got her on a three-way with Mr. Idris Alaka from seeing the information. She loved what she heard. She loved what she saw. He did a phenomenal job answering the questions and so forth. She got on another presentation and so forth. So she's officially in, and she's a writer, very interesting person. She's actually on this call right now. And what I did was, I said, schedule a game plan interview. So all that was happening while I was picking up my little one. She had no clue about it. Mr. Idris was doing the game plan interview three ways and so forth. So she's been moving along in the system, experiencing, and it's been a good experience. And so very excited, to have her on board. And well, I've been trying to coordinate to get a welcome call from you, but she's here now. So, Ms. Nath Jones. And so definitely appreciate you. And, again, we're continue to build and grow, and just the nuggets from this call here as well. I mean, I've taken some extensive notes, but a couple of bullet points, with regards to us literally saving lives with Mr. Idris, closing that deal and so forth. I've seen that before, but just, one of our own and hear that up close and in person, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there like, okay. So that'll be part of my presentation. As you stated, educate, practice, drill, and rehearse. And, all of this is resonate. And then Mr. MVP, Mr. Chris McHenry, we don't recruit, we partner up. The verbiage, just the tweak in the verbiage is really amazing. And Idris and I, we talk about that type of stuff throughout the week. And, and as you're stating again, don't focus on the quitters or the incubators, so all in all, just staying plugged in and truly appreciate your leadership. I appreciate everyone on this call for what everybody brings to the table. And, this is a great start. and continue to build on the momentum.
There you go. Well, I'm gonna say, well, first of all, that part, man, I'm telling you, that's when you look at who he is, guys. Kyrie, one thing I respect about Kyrie is he's a grinder, he's a worker. His work ethic is amazing. You know, so he's always plugged in, he's always at the events, he's always getting better, he's always evolving. But he's also one of the best people when it comes to getting referrals. There's not many people out there better than him, you know, on how to get referrals and work referrals. And so like, when I talk about, you know, finding something that you specialize in, something that you do better than everybody else, and then get better at it. Okay. Again, when you get better at it, guess what? You start building a team. Like I see, where is it at? Carlton. I see Carlton on he's a part of Kyrie's team. So Maz and Carlton, who did a three-way with me, you know, the other day. Congratulations, by the way, to with a realtor, right? And we had a conversation and we talked about on that conversation what the company does and everything, obviously. But in that conversation, I had an opportunity to ask her a question. This is one of the things I want you guys to know. If you're going to put somebody on the lifeline with me, a three-way with me, make sure they've seen a extensive, you know, presentation. One of the ones that I've done where, preferably the one I did for Bree and Eddie, because it's probably one of the better, more professional, you know, presentations. But if they're going to get on the phone, they want to make sure they have a good, extensive understanding of what we do, so we can have an educated conversation. Okay. So unless otherwise, like when unless you are dealing with somebody and I say, okay, no, we don't want that person to watch a presentation. Let's just have a conversation first. Other than that, make sure they're exposed, because what that individual is looking for when they get on here, not saying this is what happens, but I'm telling you what happens most of the time is they're coming on that call undereducated, and they're coming on that call expecting to have a presentation be done or somebody to convince them on something, and it totally messes up the whole entire process. And so, but what I was able to do is, you know, and you don't learn this unless you're doing three ways. And so, and this is a chance. This was a learning experience with Carlton, and we got a chance to talk about that. So on that call, I explained to, okay, so now I see you watched the 15-minute video. Okay, you hadn't seen the 45-minute video. Okay, so Carlton, get her that video, and then what we'll do is we'll get back together, and she appreciated that, and he appreciated it, and he learned it, and now she gets a chance to come back and have a conversation again, listening to me and my humility, because you know, guys, for me, you know, I don't have positional conversations. You rarely ever hear me talk about my rank or position. That's what y'all should do before I get on there. My goal is to make sure that, you know, we address any concerns, challenges, answer any questions that they may have, but make sure we paint the picture and the vision for what this is and what it can be for them. Okay. I I need to figure out what solution I need to create for you and the challenge that you're having right now. And everybody has a challenge, regardless of what they tell you or not. Everybody's going through something. You just have to make sure that you design a solution for them using this company. And then once you design that solution for them, you turn around and follow through with it. Okay. Make sure that that solution actually happens. Because when you do that, that, my friend, will become the thing that puts you in a position where that person will never ever leave you. That person will be, again, one of your biggest advocates. That person will be one of your biggest campaigners, right? That person will make sure that they protect you. That person will have your back, and you just continue to create successes, because when you fulfill promises like that, what ends up happening is you buy more time for them from them, to help to give you the ability to lead them in other areas of their life as well, and more opportunities within the company. So again, good stuff, you know. But as it's about using the system, like Kyrie said. And by the way, Nath, welcome to the family. I see you there. I just saw the picture pop up. I saw the screensaver pop up. Welcome to our family. And but that process, guys, is not about Kyrie. It's about him understanding what he has at his disposal. Okay. And so I have Idris, I have presentations, I have trainings, I have events, I have all of these, you know, trainings, what we call the BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. A meeting, a three-way is a meeting. A training is a meeting. A presentation is a meeting. A conversation is a meeting, right? You're keeping a person in process. And when I say in process, you're keeping that person in a position where they can continue to get the information that they're looking for. Continue to tap into the system so they can see that this thing is bigger than you. Continue to see that there are resources out there that they can lean on even when you're not around. So now NAF knows that it's not just about Kyrie. If Kyrie's not available, guess what? Idris may be available. Mr. Bean may be available. Whoever it is in the system may be available. Who she sees on this call may be available. That's what this whole entire, environment, this community is built for. Support. All right. So great job, Kyrie. And again, welcome, NAF. Brenda.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I just want to say thank you to you, Mr. Bean and Ms. Bean, for everything you guys do and for creating everything you are creating for all of us to be successful and win in life. One of my wins this week, well, actually, I have several, is I've been talking to a VP of a company. At the beginning, he was kind of not interested because he's pretty set where he's at. And I explained to him, some of the stuff that we can offer. And he's like, let me think about it. All this stuff that you threw on me today is actually, I want to think about it and get back to you. So I'm going to reach out to him actually today because he said, give me a couple days. And I'm excited about that because, if he comes in, it's going to be big. The other thing is I did a post about real estate. And out of that post, I got about, I had 25 and I think I have about 30 leads now that I need to follow up on that. So I'm very excited about that. You guys know I use a lot of social media and I don't get a lot of reactions to my post or, likes, but I have people reaching out to me from that post and they're like, hey, I'm available. So I have a lot of work to do this week and excited about that too. The other thing is one of the things that I've been working on this week and I learned is oh, I forgot to mention, I want to say thank you to all the leaders too, before I forget, Angel, Chris, Roxy, Matthew, you guys have inspired me a lot. Jeremy, my God, I never, I'm always watching him and he's incredible. And Idris, I want to say thank you for everything you do. And Landon, all of you are great. Miss Laura, of course, that what you just said this morning was incredible. And what I want to say is I've been working a lot on, intention, like what is it that Brenda wants? What do we have to do to so that I can attract that stuff? And this goes for all of us. Anything you want in life or desire, whether it's Builder 500, Builder 8,000, it has to have an intention that's, that we have to get out there. So anything you want in life and desire that's worth having, which is, like this business that we have, requires intention. So if you want to have that Builder 8,000, the Builder 500, if you want to be a manager, whatever you want to be and, be a different person, a different rank, from being, stuck where we're at to going and living the life that we want to live. I think you have to go through stages of transformation, which is what I've seen with everybody here. And, I thank you, Mr. Bean, because I know sometimes I don't speak it and I don't say it, but, it's working and it's changing my life a lot. And one of the things that I took this week was like, okay, you have to be aware. This is what you're doing. So you have to be aware of what you're doing and where you want to get. So what that means is I had to learn something new every single day. I had to learn something that I didn't know and I had to get out of my comfort zone. So that's what I've been doing. So I'm putting the intention out there. So first, have the awareness. Second, have the intention. And then make that decision and discipline myself to do what I need to do. So if I want to become, what I want to become, I have to do it. God made us to be successful. That's just the end of it. And he made us for a purpose. It doesn't matter if people don't believe in what we're doing. It doesn't matter if I get no's. It doesn't matter if people are just watching, or it doesn't matter even if they validate what I'm doing. As long as I know what I'm doing and where I'm going, the rest doesn't matter. Because it don't matter if they cheer you. It don't matter if nobody's clapping. You have a purpose and we have a purpose and we have somewhere where we need to get here. So what matters is that I yield to my purpose and I know what I'm doing and I know where I'm going and I know who's working with me, who's helping me. And that's all that matters. And I know where I'm getting. So at the end of the day, I have to serve what I have to serve and I have to be a good servant. I have to be a good leader. And that's what I'm taking from you and all of these leaders and past what I'm learning, that's the only way that I'm going to grow to help others. So just remember, guys, all progress requires intention, but
There you go.
digression only requires neglect. So what that means is, if you want to not do anything, it's going to get worse. It's automatic. But all you have to do is nothing. So we're not here not to do nothing. We're here to change people's lives. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. And I appreciate every single one of you that's on this call.
There you go. And I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, a lot of you actually have scenarios that you take for granted. Brenda's in the market by herself. She's in Denver. Most of her market is in Spanish, that's the initial market. And, didn't have a whole lot of people to lean on. There was no market meetings. There were no, partners that she had to lean on, no leaders in that market she had to lean on. She's on an island. And so when you look at a person who's out there building it, and then not just building it, but she's going to all the events, when it comes to the company, she's done the presentations in Spanish. She's one of the first, Spanish presenters that we actually have, right? And when I talked to you guys about, coming to the markets, she actually had a meeting with her leaders, that night and said, hey, look, this is what we need to do to get Mr. Bean to come to this market so we can actually blow this thing up. And I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. But that guys, I'm gonna tell you that the system will see your gratitude. I tell people all the time, it's cool to say thank you verbally, but for me, I do thank you. I show a person that I appreciate what they've done to me by going out there and doing more of what's asked for me. When the Navarros and the people who own this company actually opened the doors of this company to me, and they said, hey, look, we really want you to be a part of this situation. And based on what you're showing us, I was already adding value, right? And again, the more and more value I added, the more and more access was granted, the more and more ownership was granted. And so it's still, at this point in time, I'm still in a position where my goal is to add more and more value to the company and give more to this company than they can ever pay me back. And so that means that I have work to do. But one thing I like about Brenda is going through that thing. She has every opportunity to say, hey, look, I have kids, I'm taking care of families in other countries. I have I have a career. I have this, I have that. She has the ability to make excuses, but all she does is make it happen. And so when you look at professionals respect people like that. And so another thing, going just now wrap up and go, because I want to make sure we get into the training, guys. And going forward, we can keep it about 60 to 90 seconds, guys. See if we can get in and out. That'd be great. But when you look at, like, when you're posting stuff, a lot of you guys are posting stuff, and you're so addicted to the like that when you don't see one, it affects you negatively. People are going to lurk. They might not like it, but they're going to lurk it. So they're going to walk around, look around. They're going to be peeking in your window on a regular basis, your social media window on a regular basis. You just got to make sure that you give them something to peek at on a regular basis, right? And so keep on posting, keep on posting, keep on posting, keep on taking those pictures and those deals that you see in the group on WhatsApp and post them. Another satisfied client, right? Another satisfied client. Don't do one every day because you're not closing the deal every day. You do one every week or every other week. I'm saying? Another satisfied client, right? And so you want people to see what's happening in the company, and you want people to see the type of deals that we're doing, and that this thing is actually working, right? But you don't care who sees. You just put it out there for everybody to see, so the right person can see it, and then you'll start to see your inbox, get hit. So trust me, people are out there watching, people are out there looking, and people are out there getting phone calls because they're staying active 100% of the time. Then going back to Roxy, probably about 20 minutes ago, Roxy posted a picture of all y'all on social media. She getting it at 6:30 in the morning, on a Saturday morning, right? She's showing people she's committed and she's grinding. So appreciate you, Brenda. Keep on doing your thing. You are definitely a winner. I appreciate it. And Denver is going to be huge. That event in Denver is going to blow up. We're going to kill it. Angel.
Hi, great morning, everybody. Great morning, Mr. Bean. First of all, thank you, Mr. Bean and Mrs. Bean, for everything that you do and all that you give us so that we can now bless others as well. So to keep it short, Mr. Bean, you always say this when you're talking about your presentations that you're not the best presenter out there, but this one I can't agree with you on. You are hands down the best presenter out there. And if people actually dissect your presentation, they know how much time and effort you have made to put into that presentation and make it look like it's so simple, right? Because Sabrina and Eddie are starting to do presentations on their own. And I said, the homework for you is to take Mr. Bean's presentation and take a look at each purpose, everything, every story he tells, every detail, every transition that he goes into next slide is well positioned, right? You already know what you want to say. Fab, if you're in the GCU program, you put FABs in there, which is features, advantages, benefits. You have stories because stories sell, right? And each example you put in there is a story, because the numbers people won't remember, but the stories you tell, that's what's going to happen. And so it's very intricate, actually, if you actually look at the way that you present. So I don't want to spend too much time on that because I have to talk about my wins, but I wanted to share that tidbit. But for my wins this week, it was a reflection for me because I was sick since Thanksgiving. And so I wasn't able to go full like I usually love to go. And I'm so inspired by everybody that's running so hard. I'm like, God, I got to get out there again, but I'm doing little by little consistency. But because I was consistent before, I had this 2-week kind of, minimal work, the I would say the activity created things where even though I wasn't out there exposing like I usually do or go to networking events, people were calling me, people were connecting me. I got people that were like, hey, realtors that were like, hey, I have a guy that wants solar, and they're calling me. I have yesterday, I actually had a lady who, we've been social media friends for a long time. And she actually started a solar company when I had reached out to her. She was like, yeah, I'm in solar. I just started a solar company. I was like, okay, great. Well, let me share you what we have. And I left it at that, right? And so she actually contacted me yesterday and she's like, what's your number, Angel? I need to talk to you. And we got on a call and she was like, I didn't get paid by my company. And she let me know, the details or whatever. And I was like, well, that's the reason why you need to take a look at ours, you know? And she's like, okay, let me go ahead and take a look at that. She already had 4 deals, but she only gave them 1 and she never got paid on that. So she's like, I got these other deals and I need solar. And she's like, I love solar. And she didn't take it that this company is screwing her over to kill her vision. She just wanted to find a company that's going to be able to, take her and, her deals and her solar brokerage to another level. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be sitting down and talking, but what I saw was, and not a lot of people get to see this because I actually have the residuals coming in. And so even with all the people that were not doing any work and, this being November and, and people were all Black Friday and, concentrating, I still have my residuals, guys. It comes in every month. That's the reason why Mr. Bean says build the residuals. It doesn't matter, right? You just have to maintain it, after building the residual. Not like you can't stop working, but you get that break and it's still there. And I even talked to one of my team members and I said, you literally took 2 months off. You haven't done 2 months and your residuals are still there? She was like, yeah, I just got paid again. And I was like, that's why you got to go harder. And that's all I wanted to share.
There you go. And I'm gonna just say, guys, you really don't understand the power of a residual income and what it can do for you. But also when you look at the amount of work that Angel was doing, she was going to events every day, networking events every day. She was building up a real big database and pipeline of people to communicate with every day, right? And so when you do that, guys, again, at some point in time, remember, it's not good timing for people a lot of the time, right? And also you got to give people time to wrap their mind around it. When you communicate with somebody initially, guys, what's actually happening is you're putting somebody in a position where uh, they are coming up on somebody who's trying to sell them something or trying to recruit them, and that's where their brain is at. Okay, it's in a defensive mindset. Okay, and so when you look at that individual, when they get a chance to watch you, they get a chance to warm up to the idea of solar, they get a chance to warm up to the idea of water, they get a chance to warm up to the idea of being a part of build. Then they come back, or when things change in their life, or when that solar company doesn't pay them, guys. You're going to see a lot of that right now. You should be talking to a lot of solar pros right now because a lot of solar pros are not getting paid right now. A lot of the companies that actually solar pros are in, a lot of these companies are starting to go under and go down. Matter of fact, Freedom is consuming some companies, a couple of companies in the very near future based on the financial positions that they're in. And that means that we're going to get bigger, we're going to get stronger, our territory is going to be more vast, we'll have more states, right? On the residual side, on the residential side. But you won't experience a whole lot of that residual impact that I'm talking about that comes from you getting started when we make the big announcements. You're supposed to be started right now. So when things do go down and go in a different direction, you have your team, you have your deals on the table, you have the pipeline filled, you have the residuals coming in, and that's what takes care of it. What if Angel would have been down for 3 or 4 months or 5 or 6 months, right? That residual income in the system is still going to work for her. When COVID kicked in, remember, we were making 40 grand a month in residuals on coffee when COVID kicked in, based on all the work that we did, up until the point that COVID happened. You don't wait till things happen to get busy. You get busy for when the time that something happens. Not if something happens, is when. This is life. Okay? And so I want to make sure that you guys understand that part. So good. Yeah. Let's see here. Matt Acosta.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Early
Man,
LA.
yeah. One of the things you said was post because you don't know who's watching, even if they don't comment or anything like that. Post it because people are watching, right? And I live that. So I have people that that I'll reach out to, and then I haven't spoke to in years, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I see. You're always doing this and doing that, and I see like what's build, and I see you're killing it over there, and doing the solar and all this stuff. So yeah, like I'm watching you. I'm not active on social media, but when I be scrolling, I be seeing your stuff. So I've been hearing that so many times, and it's like, oh man, I forgot about you until I needed to call you, to bring you in, but yeah, so that's actually a living testament of myself is that I hear a lot of people, they tell me that like, yeah, what's build? I see you're doing the thing over there and all that stuff. So they're watching the stories. They may not be liking, commenting or anything like that, but there's eyes on the content there. So definitely post.
And let me know, and Matt, while we're talking about it, because you just, when it comes to presentations, when we started doing those presentations, right? We did one together. You did one before we actually did it together. Then you did one with me for Jenny. And then you and Matt, you and Roxy just launching groups now. Y'all just doing presentations all day, every day now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it feel to have to take now to take your business, now that sector of your business into your own hands and not have to rely on anybody or anything else?
Oh, it's like a complete game changer. Literally seen everything just from what you guys been saying from the beginning to the different levels and tiers, and from getting educated and learning the system. And man, it's a huge blessing, and I could see the growth because now it's like, hey, I got this person, can you talk to them? So they're getting, Roxy and I on 3-ways so that we could do 3-ways with their people. And then as soon as they sign up, the first thing we do, boom, we're going to do a launch event. Who do you know that would be interested in this business? And then boom, like yesterday, one of Jenny's guys that she got me on a 3-way with, he was like, dude, I love it. He's like, I'm signing up. I'll sign up tomorrow. He's like, I'm busy today, taking care of some stuff. So tomorrow I'm going to sign up. And Monday, let's do the launch. Monday, 4 p.m. He's in Oklahoma, so 6 p.m. for him. And he's like, I already have a list of 15 people, and I'm just gonna tell him like, look, you guys are my closest people. I want to let you guys know the information first, so that way you guys get it first, and everybody else gets it second. So he already knows. I was like, oh shoot, he already knows the way to go about it. So being able to hear that without me having to coach it, I was like, oh snap, this is all right. We're gonna take this to the next level right here. So we already created his flyer, got him pumped up. And yeah, he's excited. He was in the nightclub business. He sold that business. Now he owns a roofing company, and all of his people are, you know, sales oriented, you know, just go getters and network network programmers or something like that. But he has a big group of people there. So he's like, I know a lot of people that'll be perfect for this. So we're launching him. And then also one of our other builders, Anthony, he brought in a huge player for us as well. She is her name is Paulina. She's huge in the Latin community, and she's like, everybody calls me and asks me, how can I make more money? Where can I go to? What can I do to make some more money? She's like, everybody always asks me this, and you know, I don't really know where to send them. So, but now with this, now I can send them all. And she's like, she made a video on Instagram and said, hey, for every single one of you that always ask me, how can I make more money? What can I do to make some money? This and that. So we're doing her launch event. She just signed up yesterday officially. And we have her launch event on Thursday at 6 p.m. And yeah, she already sent out a mass text to all of her people. So she said she has some people locked in already. And man, so that's our 2 launch events. And then we had Roxy actually did her very first in-person presentation by herself in a realtor's office. And so we got invited to do one of that. I couldn't show up, so you know, I told her you're gonna have to take the horns on this one. So she definitely took it by the horns and man, reeled in the fish. You know.
You kicked the eagle out the nest.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm telling you, actually, I'm glad you took my threat personal and took it to heart, because you're gonna be presenting. Like I said, that's not optional. So it's a good thing. I saw.
Yeah, I gotta make sure I'm practicing before I present with you.
Exactly. I saw the social media post. I said, look at it, got the microphone, walking around the room. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Get it.
I gotta make sure I come in, you know, correctly.
And I actually used I was doing a three-way again, 10th three-way with Dennis Macy, and Dennis got a guy, and we brought him on who I used Jenny story, you know, because you know, as far as like all of the lead gen experts and stuff like that, all the things that's happening, I was able to use her story, you know, with Dennis on that three-way to make sure that the guy knew it. He wasn't the only one coming in who had heat. We already had people who was here heating it up based on what they're doing. So again, this may be for you, may not be for you, but at the end of the day, if it is, welcome home. If it ain't, we wish you well and everything you do outside of here. So, but no, I'm glad you guys got a chance to jump on and again give you those hits and those testimonials and those wins, because you know, people need to hear those things, you know, from all areas of the U.S., you know, all different backgrounds, nationalities as well. And also the same thing, guys, it's just being here. I tell y'all about the community, right? You know, when somebody says, hey, do we have anybody who speaks Spanish, or we have anybody in this market in California? You know, when you're here, I can say, hey, look, like Sabrina asked for somebody in California who speaks Spanish. And I said, well, hey, hit Matt up, you know, and so Matt, you're here, you're part of the community. She sees you and she hears your wins. She sees the everything that's around you. So it's easy for her to say, okay, no, okay, great. Thank you for that referral. Right. And so and vice versa, we do it on a regular basis, guys. So when you're here, just know that even if you're a professional, just know that people, when they see you, people do business with who they like, they know, and that they trust. And when they see you learning, they know that you're in a position where you're humble. You don't feel like you know it all, right? And they feel like this person is growing, and I can definitely grow with this individual. And I can do business with this person, so I know what they're about. So I appreciate you guys. Keep killing it. Wendy.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Miss Wendy.
Yes, Wendy's here.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
With my daughter. Don't mind me. I just took out her ponytail.
That's all good. That's this is a family-based business. It's all good. That's one of the beautiful parts about being able to do business from home.
Yeah, I was pulling out her edges, but I wanted to just speak with my experience for the week, right? I definitely underestimated Build and what it could do. As far as like the leads, we have the Home Depot leads and everything, but and they like feed you. It's literally like you're getting spoon fed with leads versus like with me being in the industry, having to go out and like slave in the code, or even if you're in the retail channel, having to be in the store for hours to get one person. They have people handling that for you. Like I wish I could show you guys, but like I get set like 3-4 leads per day, honestly. And then with me, like it's getting cold, so I don't really want to be outside too much right now. They're trying to do virtual consultations. So honestly, I just want to say thank you to Build. I love it. It's a great company. I'm still learning. Like there's still hurdles that I have to jump through, but I definitely see that it's worth it, and I'm ready to like go through everything I have to get to make this work.
That's good, and I'm glad to have you on board. You're an asset, and I was happy that when we had a conversation that you did get a chance to make that shift and make that transition over. And I'm glad that you're enjoying it and that you are seeing that what we talked about, what we promised, just wasn't something to get you in the building. And so that's
Yeah, sure. I wish you told me more. Like honestly, just
right. But it's that thing. It's like, remember we talked about it earlier. It's like the information, you can go into information overload, give a person too much information unless people are asking for specific stuff. And you want to, it's like you just want to fire hose the person, but it's just about being, like, man, let me give them what they need at this point in time. Just like that beautiful baby girl you have right there. When you birthed her, you gave her Enfamil or Similac. You didn't give her a steak. You didn't feed her. You didn't just give her the whole kit and caboodle right out the gate. And you want to nurture that relationship. But I'm glad, again, at some point in time that the system, because the system never fails, guys. The people fail the system. Okay?
Yeah.
The system never fails. And if a person's plugging into the system and they have access to it and they see it, at some point in time, people are smart enough to know what they have their hands on or what they don't have their hands on. And that's when people make their real decisions. It's never the first conversation. The first conversation pique interest or may get you started, but it's the internal conversation that you have with yourself once you've been exposed to the actual system. That's the one that will determine, whether you see value or not, and how big you build it or if you go somewhere else. And so
Build giving 4-course meal, 5-star steakhouse. So
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate you sharing today. And so let's see here. So what I do right now, I got Roberto, and what I do is Roberto, because it's 9:30. After Roberto, everybody else just keep your hands up. I got to make sure I get that part of the training done, and then I'll come back to you guys. But Roberto, we'll go ahead and wrap this portion right now.
Hey, Mr. Bean, I just wanted to say again, just like everybody else, thank you so much to you and every single leader in this company, Mrs. Bean. I learned so much from watching you guys. And everyone here is an inspiration. I look up to a lot of people here. This week, it's something that resonated a lot with me, something that you said, which is when I put other families first, my family will not be last. And I've been implementing that in the way that I'm presenting the business and interacting with people. And I've been doing a lot of community stuff lately. And something beautiful just happened. I was invited to a podcast, and it's for an insurance agency that has a few hundred reps in it. And after the podcast, they basically asked me, "Hey, what is it that you guys do? I see you very active in social media." And so I gave them a brief description, right? More like a partnership and collaboration. And they want to meet with us to bring everybody on board. And then there was a second one The gentleman is a real estate agent, a real estate broker, and a loan officer. He has about 50 reps. My wife and I met with him last week, and we're having a follow-up meeting with him early next week. Same thing. He said he sees the value, he sees the vision, and he wants to bring everybody on board with him. Also, my two of my downlines asked me to do a presentation for some prospects, and I did pick their interest. They're very interested. They want to have a follow-up meeting, more like a one-on-one. And so I'm very excited. Again, I took to heart what you said, putting other families first. So mine will never be last. And so far it's been amazing. It's been an amazing experience.
Yeah. Well, you and Veronica out there ripping it up and doing great things, man. I'm excited for y'all and really seeing the results. And one, I appreciate you highlighting that part because people don't know what you go through as a leader, right? And people don't know what sacrifices you make. The only thing people care about is their results and that they get what they came for, right? And they're consumers. Initially, you're dealing with consumers. You're not dealing with leaders. You're recruiting people who are consumers with a consumer mindset or employee mindset. So it's always about, their favorite radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me, right? And that's natural, that's normal, that's human beings. But when you turn around and you show them based on how you move that their success is important to you and you're willing to invest time, or you're willing to take a phone call, you're willing to do a training, you're willing to do a presentation, you got that's when people buy into you. That's when people will now, start to attach themselves to you, start to believe in you, start to borrow your beliefs, and next thing you know, you start to grow, with them. And next thing you know, that becomes extremely appealing for other people. And when other people start to hear how you put their family first and how you put, them in a position where you're there to serve them, now all of a sudden everybody else wants to be a part of that movement as well. Right. And you create a culture and an environment that people can feel safe in, and people know that when they do business with you, that they know for a fact they don't have to worry about you looking at them as a dollar sign, or you stealing anything from them, or you doing anything crooked or underhanded or overcharging any of their customers or clients that they come to the business with you as a mentor. So that's the type of thing that creates the sustainability, of your group. So putting a person in and keeping them in and moving them along is one thing. Making sure you do that, it's going to take you being a special human being, a person who really cares about people in order for that to work. People have a revolving door when people know that you're not a human being. They know that you're cheating, you're lying, backstabbing, you're stealing, you're just here for the money or whatever it is. You can be a great person just here to do business, but if people feel like you just want to make money off of them, they can care less about you, and they'll continue to they'll pay for their electricity, right? Or they'll continue to hurt financially and not look at an opportunity based on the fact that they feel like they're either being recruited, or being sold. Okay. So one of the two. So you got to go away from, putting yourself in a position where people think you're recruiting them. People don't think you recruiting them when they talk to you. People know that you're partnering with them, like Chris said earlier. You're partnering with them. You're bringing them, to be a part of something special, right? Not to be used as a pawn, right? If a person is buying something for you, they're not just buying a solar system. They're literally buying into, their future savings, their future, something they can use those savings to invest in, whatever it is, ownership. They're getting ownership, they're getting information, and whatever they're getting empowered, as a customer. And they know you took the time out of your day to invest that information into them so they can make a wise decision and not be pressured to make a purchase. Right. And so again, everybody's got their style and how they do things. Nobody's right or wrong on how they do it. It's what you want to build in your portfolio. You want to build a lot of one-hitter quitters, or you want to build a turnstile referral based business, right? And so that's the thing. Everybody's got their way of building it. For me, I've always had the strongest residual incomes, in the industry of network marketing when I was in network marketing, because you would quit the business, but you wouldn't quit me. Okay. So and you can check out mentally, but you wouldn't quit me. Like, even if you was mad at the company, you wouldn't quit me. because we have a connection, we have a relationship, right? I've invested in you, I poured into you, I've made sure that I was there for you on all levels. And so when it comes to you making decisions between me and a company or me and a group or me and anything, you'll choose me 100% of the time because of what I mean to you, and I make sure I mean something to you by adding value to you. I show you you mean something to me. I don't tell you you mean something to me and then do something different, right? Nobody's that important, guys, that you have to lie to. You know what I'm saying? Like, so but there's no person out there walking the face of the earth that can you feel like can bring you that much business into your build network, or that many people into your build network, or that many generate leads into your build network that you have to lie to them and to get them started. The truth is good enough, but you have to be the truth, the truth that they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Don't a pair of lip service. My little brother says this all the time. A pair of lips to say anything, right? And so you have to show people exactly what they need to know about you. So I appreciate that. I don't just say it in my presentation, Roberto. You know that I do it in my whole entire walk, bro. That's just one thing about me. If I got your back, I mean, if I'm in your corner, I don't have a problem ruffling feathers and what have you, because again, the truth is what it is. We need to make sure that everybody is doing what they say they're going to do. We got to make sure that we hold everybody accountable 100% of the time. We got to get to the facts. We got to get to the truth. We got to get to the results. And we got to get your people taken care of. When people see you fight for them, again, that's good luck trying to remove that person out of your life. Okay. So always fighting for, the people. And one thing about fighting for the people, I'm gonna go into the training with this. When you look at, people who, I know you're fighting for me. One, if I see you getting better, if I see you growing, if I see you training, if I see you elevating yourself, if I see that who you are as you are today, as my leader, cannot take me to where I need to go, right? As an individual who believed in you, who joined you, and I see you growing, that gives me security. It's no different than my wife. If she sees me, if we're in a financial situation and she sees me sitting on my butt and not doing nothing, you know, that gives her less security about me, and she less believability about me. She at that point in time, she's trying to figure out what she's got to do because I'm no longer the man of the house. You know what I mean? And so again, one of the most important things people need to see in you is change. Okay, you need to become the change that you want to see in your people. Okay, and there are things that people gloss over all the time. When you look at, um, just we talk about scalability, right? How to scale your company, right? You are a company within a company. You are a part of the Build Network. You're in that umbrella. So whether you are scaling your sales side for solar sales or water sales, or you're scaling your business development side when it comes to building your brokerage, again, you're either scaling it, okay, or you're scorching it, which means that you're either growing or you're dying. You're either living, or like I said, guys, you have to be going in one direction because there's no gray area in business, especially these type of businesses. Okay. You're either scaling or you're scorching, right? You're either building your business up or you're burning your business down. Okay. And most of you are not scalable as a business because you won't scale your skill. Okay. If you won't scale your skill, remember, what's your number one resource in this company? People, right? So whether it be you here for solar sales, or whether it be you here for building your brokerage, both of those require a human being to be communicated with and connected to. So if you don't scale your skill on how to communicate and how to connect with that individual, what you're doing is you're playing the lottery. You're hoping to get lucky. What you're doing is I'm gonna send a couple of videos, to some people, right, and see what that do. See if they can get started on this 15-minute video, on this 45-minute video. But you can't have a conversation with anybody to save your life. And you've been in the business for 12 months. It's December. We're 12 months old. You've been in the business 9 months. You've been in the business 6 months. You've been in the business 3 months. Why can't you have a conversation? Okay. Because there are more things important than your actual goals and dreams. Okay. When a person asks you to write down your 6 goals and your 6 dreams in the 6 steps to 6 figures, you gave these goals and dreams, which those are not goals and dreams, those were lies. Those were wants. Those would be nice to have. Those aren't goals because you fight for goals. You work toward goals. And part of the work that you actually have to put in when it comes to goals in this industry, in the sales industry, is getting better at increasing your skill. Scaling your skill is crucial. That's why I say educate, guys. We talk about educate yourself always on everything. If you, there are a lot of things I don't get on at all because it's a waste of my time because it goes against everything I want to learn. But there are things that I put in place of those things that I listen to on a regular basis that I'm looking to find a nugget. I'm looking to find a trigger. I'm looking to find something that I can use to take my skill to the next level and take my results to the next level. Right? When you look at people who are let's say people who are negotiators, hostage negotiators, they work on that skill every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They get hit with scenarios 100% of the time. They look at film 100% of the time. They look at old tapes of people who failed and people who won 100% of the time. They are getting better 24 hours a day, 7 days a week because somebody's life is on the line as a hostage negotiator. Somebody's buying and somebody's selling. Okay. The first sale that you have to make every day is the sale to get better, the sale to evolve. Right? A person who wants to lose weight who just lays in bed and instead of getting up earlier and to go to the gym or getting up earlier to go do a little workout, calisthenic workout, a little 20-minute workout at your house, you are saying you want to lose weight. It'd be nice to lose weight. It'd be cool to lose weight, but you don't have to lose weight, obviously. It's not a priority to you. Just like getting your bills is not a priority to you. We have people who've been in the business 3-4 months, still haven't got 3 bills, right? And that's because they don't have any confidence. And you know why they don't have any confidence? Because they don't have any skills. You know why they don't have any skills? Because they don't come to any trainings. They don't listen to any events, and they don't go out there and they don't educate themselves. They don't brainstorm. They don't go out there and they don't drill it. They don't practice it. They don't rehearse it, right? And that's what it's cause and effect. Right? So the reason why the people who make the most money consistently and predictably is because they're better than everybody else at preparation. They're better than everybody else at making sure that when they do a presentation, that presentation is not going to be flawless, but it's going to be great, right? And a person who does a lot of educating themselves, a lot of drilling, a lot of rehearsing, a lot of practicing, a lot of role playing and stuff like that, those individuals can handle any situation in any scenario. If you ever notice, none of my presentations are ever the same. They all have the core, they all have the foundation, they all have the same structure, but they're never the same because the audience is never the same, right? The opportunities and who you're talking to, the backgrounds are never the same. The 3-way, that's why when you do 3-ways, a lot of you guys are missing a fortune when it comes to the 3-ways. That's a part of your education. I used to get people on the phone with my leaders just so I can hear what they would say and record it. It always gave me opportunity to learn something. And so now when you hear me do a 3-way lifeline and I'm having a conversation with somebody on your behalf, it's not a conversation, it's an education. That it's now at that point in time, I am addressing the concerns and that individual may have, challenges and questions that person may have, but I'm educating you on how to do it while I'm educating the person on who we are and what we have and how we're going to do what we got to do. But it's also education for you. It's also re-recruiting you. It's also getting you to have more buy-in in me as a leader. So that the more buy-in you have, the stronger your edification and conviction as me being the right person to work to is for you, right? And so, again, a lot of these things, when I say cause effect, a lot of these things happen because, you are great at what you do. And preparation, training, guys, skilling and we're going to do a whole entire different training on the Millionaire Mentorship call that I have laid out, but I want to touch on it today because a lot of the work, guys, that when you talk about looking at a champion, like you look at somebody that's in the ring, regardless of who you like, whether it be Ali, Tyson, whoever it is as a boxer, you see them in that ring with their hands up, with their belt around their waist. Roy Jones Jr., Mayweather, belt around their waist, multiple belts around their waist, right? But what you don't see is the diet. You don't see the road work. You don't see the exercising. You don't see the fasting. You don't see the sparring, right? Them fighting people every day, so, to getting ready for the big fight, which is role playing, which is why you should be listening to, you know, again, those 6 o'clock trainings every day. We put in the group every day. You should be listening to that. One of the things also you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure you uh, upgrade upgrade your listening material. So if you don't have Audible, you should probably download Audible. Okay, just a a tip. But one of the things I've listened to for a long time, and one of the things that I use to keep me in tune with what I'm supposed to be doing and who I'm supposed to be while I'm doing it is Grant Cardone, right? The Sell or Be Sold. Okay, Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold. It's one thing out there that I listen to on a regular basis. Now, I may not listen to the whole entire deal. I've listened to it, at least 2 or 3 times already. But when it comes to that one chapter, that one thing, that one thing that keeps me accountable is chapter 20. Okay. When we look at the sales training tips, guys, chapter 20 is probably 6 minutes long, not long at all. But you talking about getting your proverbial juices flowing when it comes to you going out there, get ramped up, amped up, going out there attacking, what you're supposed to attack to get business done. As chapter 20, when it comes to that sales training technique and Grant Cardone is a must listen to. Okay. The other thing you got to scale, and if you want to scale your income, is you want to scale your mentality. Yet some of your mindset is not suitable for a consistent 6-figure income. Okay. You have to have a 6-figure mindset set if you want a 6-figure income. Automatic, residual, reoccurring 6-figure income, you're not there yet. If you were there yet, you'd already have it, right? Okay. So what is the type of person, the mindset of individual who is at 6 figures a month or 6 figures a year residual? I'm not talking about 6 figures a year on the job. Anybody can make 6 figures a year on the job. But what is the mindset of a person, who's making 6 figures a year residually, reoccurring income? Because that takes more than physical muscle. That takes mental muscle. That takes mental stamina. That takes you to go out there and evolve into somebody who can do that. Like, what's the work ethic? What's the mindset? What are they listening to? What type of activities they're having? And when it comes to the mindset, guys, in the beginning, you're going to work, you're going to build, you're going to recruit, you're going to bring people to the table, right? And you don't need personal development for that. Personal development is what you need when you actually have a group, when you have people who are coming on board, people who are in the system, so you can now lead that individual, right? Because, like I said, you can do 20 deals a month easy. You can make $100,000 a month doing 20 deals, 15 deals if you're doing both sides of them. That's muscle, right? You got to be someone with a work ethic just to do that. But you got to do that every month. Okay, putting yourself in a position where you have $100,000 a month coming in. Okay, that's a whole entirely different situation. You have to be a whole entirely different human being. You have to be selfless now. You got to give up some time, and that time you're giving it up is time that you're growing up. That's the time that you're now investing in your personal development, your elevation, your evolution. Because you have a lot of people out there right now who are prepared to spend way more money on Christmas than they ever had on personal development and training. And I'm going to say right now, guys, when they say that when you spend, let me go back to when I was doing Bikram yoga. Yeah, I was talking to one of the instructors. He says, "Well, yeah, I eat meat, and I have people in the class who eat meat. But what I tell them to do is this: if you're going to eat meat, eat equal portions greens on the side. If you have a salad, if you eat meat, eat a bigger salad than the portion of meat that you're eating, so it offsets it, right? It's the same thing. If you shopping, it's cool to shop, but go spend, equal portions of the amount of money that you do on your clothes, you know, on your training. Go get, well, who are you listening to? What seminars are you going to? Right? What books are you reading? Right? A lot of stuff you don't even have to buy no more because a lot of stuff is free on social media. Okay? But you have to. Mindset wise, your personal development has to grow because remember, your personal development is always going to determine where your financial existence lies. Okay, so remember your financial and your personal. If your personal development grows up here, right, financial thermostat raises, your money raises. Okay, if it's down here, like you hit the lottery over here, and your personal development is down here, then what's going to happen is that personal development that you're lacking is going to kick in. Is going to bring all that money that you just won on the lottery all the way down. You're going to get rid of it. It's going to force you to sabotage it and get rid of it. Just like some of you have thinking that is forcing you to sabotage this opportunity. When you have a great thought about what you should do and you get fired up and you get ready to go out here and run through walls, something in your brain says destroy that idea. Man, I need to be on Saturday morning call. Something in that brain says, man, who are you fooling? You ain't gonna be nobody. You know what I'm saying? Something says, go listen to Idris on Monday night. Man, you're not gonna be a mentor. You're not gonna be like mentor. You're not gonna be like Idris. Man, or man, you're not gonna get 3 deals, to even qualify to have his time. Whatever, your brain will always do something or tell you something to get rid of that idea, okay, that you just had, which is a great idea to get you to your goal. Okay, it'll always get rid of it because again, your brain is not fortified and conditioned in a way that it actually take that seed and nurture it, water it, and help it become something. You'll kill that seed unintentionally. That's just how the brain works. Your financial thermostat is set at a place for a reason. It's your job to increase that financial thermostat, and you do that again by not just reading and listening, but applying everything you read and listen. And when it comes to the stuff that you're applying, I only read and listen to stuff that I need to advance my movement in that space that I'm in at that time. I don't just go read and listen to stuff arbitrarily. I only listen to stuff that I need. Like again, when I joined solar, all I listened to was solar stuff. That was my personal development, solar stuff. So if you're being a mentor right now, you should be a mentor in trainings. You should be bringing deals to the table, but also you should be being trained by mentors. So when Idris is doing his training as a mentor, you should be on that call. When Chris is doing his training on Mondays, when he does them, you should be on those calls, right? Those are conversations that you have during mentor sessions. You can be one of the coldest mentors this company's ever seen, okay? Or you can be one of the mentors that the company's ever heard about. And that's because you never became a mentor based on you digging up the seed that you planted. Some of you will plant a seed because you're mentally you're not strong enough in this scenario. You're strong enough in what you do as a real estate agent. You're strong enough in what you do as a doctor. You're strong enough at what you do as a contractor, as a loan officer, as an insurance agent. You're strong enough at everything you do because you fortified that in that area. It's time for you to fortify that in this area, right? So now, instead of you talking your way out of it, right, and being that person that when they plant a seed and pat the ground and fertilize it and water it, and 2 or 3 days go by and they don't see anything pop up out the ground, you think the seed is not growing. So you dig the seed up and realize that there were actually, branches and stems and vines, things that were growing underground, unbeknownst to you, but because you couldn't see it, you didn't think it was working. Okay? You have to get beyond that. You have to just trust the process and trust that personal development is happening, but trust that every time you get on these calls and you're listening to something, you're getting information, you're putting that information to work, guys, being on purpose with that information, it's working. It's putting you in a position to win. And that one day you will hit that tipping point. So let me go over a couple of things for you real quick here. When it comes to, let's see here, triggering your tipping point. You can see it in different levels, and you've heard people mention it, and I've done this training for years. And when you look at, let's see here, 1 second here. Yeah. So what you're doing is when a person gets started, guys, you're getting to a point to where you want that person to go from where they're at when they get started, which is a person who doesn't know anything, a person who has no understanding of what they have their hands on, to a person who is going to one day reach a point to where nothing that they ever will do at that point in time, and nothing they'll ever touch will fail. It will always win. And that's the mindset that they want to be in. And when a person first gets started in this business, and you see it all the time, they're dealing with unconscious incompetence. Okay. And so the definition, when you talk about the person who has unconscious incompetence, this is the person that lacks knowledge or skill in a particular area, right? How many of you guys have seen people and talked to people, and when they get started, they think they know exactly what to do and they do everything wrong, right? Oh, I got it. I've been here before. I've done this before. I've been in these type of companies before. I got this type of experience. And they run down their resume, right? And this person is truly unaware of their incompetence, right? Very unaware, to the point to where they stand on it boldly, like they're the professional, right? But person doesn't recognize their mistakes or their limitations. They don't understand that they have a cap on their learning, and that ego is about to cost them a ton of money, right? And so this is literally the ego stage or the ignorant stage, because you have some people who, again, it's either ego or ignorance. They don't follow your advice based on ego or ignorance, based on the fact they think they know everything already, or the fact that they feel like they're not going to take any advice from you at all. They're just going to do it on their own. Okay, so that's important. But they may believe, they may even believe rather that they are competent or proficient. Okay, so at this stage, guys, the individual is unaware of their gaps, their own gaps, and the knowledge and skills that may be that they need to actually be successful in the business. So you got, success and you have failure, and that is a big gap. And people are totally unaware of everything in that gap that's causing them to fail. So that's unconscious incompetence. Two, you have conscious incompetence. Okay. Conscious incompetence. So this is a person who possesses a skill or knowledge and can perform the associated task, right? So with conscious thought and effort, that person can actually win. So with the deliberate attention to detail, with clear understanding or process involved successfully, but not necessarily effortlessly, you have a person I'm sorry. I apologize, guys. I gave y'all the wrong one. I stepped too fast. Number two was conscious incompetence. I apologize, because you go from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. And this is a person who they are aware that they don't know, okay, what they're incompetent about. They basically recognize their lack of skill and knowledge. This is a person who now, after being in the business for a little while, they realize that they don't really know what they thought they knew. They realize that this is a little bit more, it's going to take a little bit more of being in this business and being in some trainings or whatever to get to the point to where I do know what I'm supposed to know. And this is one of them, humility stages. This is the humility stage. Okay. And so in that situation, this is a person who recognizes that they lack the skill or knowledge or the knowledge. They're aware of their mistakes and limitations. They understand what they need to learn or improve on. These are people who we talk about reflecting all the time. These are people who are now going back and taking inventory of what just went on. They understand what they need to learn and improve, and they may struggle to perform those tasks and achieve desired outcomes, but they are now willing to get better. And they go through that process of reconditioning, right? And then when they do that, they become number three, consciously competent. Okay. Consciously competent. This is where they become the prototype. This is the prototype stage. This is where they're in the field, they're in the trenches, they're grinding, they're doing their thing, right? This is a person who possesses the skill and the knowledge and can perform the actual task. They can go out here and get the job done, and they get real good at it. Okay? This is a person, when you look at this person has conscious thought and effort. They do it with deliberate attention to detail, like I said earlier, with a clear understanding of the process that's involved, and successfully, but not necessarily effortlessly. It's still a little work in progress, right? It's still, you still know what you're doing. You're still in the field grinding. You're still getting better at, like a lot of you right now, you know what needs to be done. Dr. Arlene's doing presentations. Dennis doing presentations. Chris doing presentations. Roxy doing presentations. Angel doing presentation. Like Laura doing, you know what needs to be done and you're doing it, right? But it's still a work in process, but you're doing it. That's the most important thing. You're growing through that process, right? You're becoming a prototype. You're becoming an expert, and it's going to take you to the next one, which is unconsciously competent. This is when you do it like you're breathing. This is when you don't even have to think about it. It just happens. Like if I launch a company, I don't have to think about it. I know exactly what goes in place. If I'm launching a group, I know exactly what needs to be in place. I know the system back and forth. I know exactly what has to happen. Okay. I can do a presentation with no problem. I can have a conversation with no problem. Solar is not my expertise. It's not my background, but I can pretty much put you in a position where you might have to second guess yourself if you thought about it. Right. So it's about business to me. And so when it comes to the residual income, whatever, all this stuff is like your body, like your brain controls your subconscious, right? Your brain is the reason why your heart beats. Your brain is the reason why your liver functions, your kidneys function, all your body the functions. You don't think about any of that stuff. You have personally, you don't know what's going on, but your brain does. It's happening with or without you. Okay, effortlessly. And that's what unconsciously competence is. That's when you know you got this thing going, and people are wondering, like, wow, why does he make it look so easy? Or why does she make it look so easy? Okay. So you hear the presentation, like Dennis was saying when he was talking to us the other day, he's like, man, he said the presentation, when you do the presentation, it goes so fast, but it doesn't feel like it's rushed. He said it just, he's like, all those points, you don't miss a beat, and it doesn't sound like you're rushing. It's just real fluid. It flows very, very well, and that's unconsciously communicating, because I've done it so much, the muscle memory kicks in. It's like a crossover in basketball. You practice it enough, you'll do it without thinking about it. Your body just reacts. It's the same thing in business, right? It's the same thing when you're having conversations with people. Those wealth files that you built up with all the work that you did, all the investments that you put into you mentally, all that stuff kicks in, and now you are you're moving as an expert. You're moving as somebody who is automatically winning without conscious thought or effort. Okay, effortlessly with ease and fluidity, you're building this thing, right? Person who has accepted a skill or knowledge to such extent that they can perform that task like they do breathing without having anything to do with it. And so that's, again, you want to get to that point, unconscious competence or unconsciously competent, either or. Okay? Those are very, very important. So when you take a person from start to finish, don't get frustrated with a person because they think they know what they don't know. Just know that they're going through these 4 stages, right? And you have to be patient with them. You have to guide them through it. You have to get them through it so they can get from that first stage to the 4th stage. That's your job as a leader. That's your job as a builder. That's your job as is again no different than you talking to somebody who thinks that they know everything about solar, which is why they don't have it on their house, and they really don't know what they're talking about. They're unconsciously incompetent. Okay. So again, it's the leader. The leader leads that person to a buying decision or an enrolling decision. Either way, that person has to be led. Okay. In order for that to happen, you have to lead yourself well. So you personally have to go to from 1 to 4, stage 1 to 4, because there's a lot of stuff that you think you know that you don't know. Right. And so when you go through that process and grow through that process, you can now take somebody else through that process and on that journey. All right. The other thing we want to talk about here as we wrap up is this, like we talked about on last week, I talked about getting to the markets, speaking with JC and Wences, again, getting those numbers up and getting those markets lit up. And when you look at where we're at going into convention, they're still working on those days. And so what we do while they work on their days, we'll work on our numbers. Yeah, and so there are markets out there that I definitely feel like we can blow those markets up. And when you blow those markets up, going into an event, going into a convention, that's when you actually have, the big numbers when you come back home. Taking a group of people from your city and from your state to an event, right? A big event, everything changes when they come back home if they're impacted. Okay. And so you want to make sure that, you're out there promoting, you're out there doing your thing, but you want to make sure that your job going forward is not just to get to build a 2,000 or build 8,000. Your job is to build something that a leader would be, inclined to come to your market to support. Because if it's just you saying, "Hey, I get 100 people here," yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, but if it's you, and over the last 2 or 3 weeks you put 20 people in, and you say I can get 100 people in, and I see that those key people are plugging into the system. Okay, I know when I get there, y'all, I know exactly what to expect. I know exactly how the edification is going to be. I know exactly how to be received. I know exactly, what the impact is going to be. I know who the leaders are. All that stuff. I know what I need to know, and boom, this trip is going to make the company money. This trip is going to make that group money. This group is going to make everybody money. Everybody's going to win after this trip based on the dynamics that are in play. So there are 6 reasons. Okay, there are 6 reasons for leadership to travel. And these are some of the things you want to make sure you journal these down. You want to use these, and you want to make sure that you teach these as well. Because once you see what it does to your market, you want to teach people the same thing, so they can have you come into their market, or having JC come to their market, or have me come to their market. It's one of the key leaders coming to their market on their behalf. But one, leaders travel to reward results in edifiable activity. Okay. So they come to reward results and edify. So if you have people who are, a market that's built 2 or 3, build to 500s, or a market that's put 50, 60 people in business over the last, 2, 3 months, or you have some edifiable activity. You have a market that's got 20 people already got tickets to the events, and you got people who are already doing presentations. You want to go to those markets to reward those people in that market for doing those things and for achieving those things, because now that's something that you can grow around. Okay, so when you give goals for a market or a specific individual that you are auditioning, you're giving an audition to, make sure that person hits it. So when people ask me, "Hey, how many people do we need to have to get you to come?" Well, it's not necessarily how many people you feel like you can put in the room. It really is about how many people you can get going, building, growing right now. So right now, if you have 20 people been put in business in a month, you know, that's something that can get me to a market, because I know with 20 people, I can have 15 to 20 people in a 30-day window of time that's plugging into the system. That group in a 30-day window of time can have 50, 60, 75 people, 100 people at an event. But if you have 15 people in the market, and that same 15 people has been in that market for the past 6 or 7 months, there's nothing there. There's nothing there at all. You have to make sure you give people goals to hit, right? And go off their achievement of those goals, not go off the promise, from their lips, because a pair of lips will tell you anything. So, but reinforce and reward people that do that. Do like give you people who are doing 4 events a week. Like like if you're doing, let's say Dale is in, he's working, let's say Oklahoma in this example, and Dale's doing 4 events a week, 4 Zooms a week, or 4 in-house meetings a week, whatever it is. But he's doing those events every week, and he's got people coming in. Now I know I have a builder in that market that's going to continue to build when I leave, because he was building before I came. He's going to be doing presentations. He's showing the market how to behave, right? And by the way, they put 15, 20 people in, in a 30-day window of time, based on him doing presentations and teaching other people how to do the same. Right? That's what I'm talking about. All right. Number 2, to re-sponsor and fortify relationships, guys, the people who are in that market already. So you have some people, they don't have to be doing bad, or they don't have to be in a negative space. they can be in a really good space. They can be in a really good pot, like Brenda. Brenda's in a really good space. But when I go there, I'm not just going there based on the fact I want to reward her for all the work that she's done, and she has done it. But my goal is also to go there to fortify her position in the company, re-sponsor her, make sure we take her energy level, excitement level to the next level, because me being there as a visitor on her behalf puts her in a really good position and puts her in a really good headspace, but also gives her more leverage with the field, because the field sees, her having the ability to get a leader to come to that company, to come to that market. And number two, also, I'm fortifying her position, because the new people who don't really show up to the meetings at this point in time, because Brenda is the presenter all the time, or she's the trainer all the time. When I get there to that market, right, I'm going to make sure that I edify her, and to basically create more and more of a reason for there to be higher retention. Okay. Really good. When I say retention, the people coming in, they listen to the leader. We do a great training, do some great mentoring moments, have a meeting after the meeting, whatever we're going to do some dream building, whatever we're going to do. But I'm not leaving there without, making sure that they know that Brenda is the focal point of that market. And she's the key to everything that moves. Right. Let's see here. Number 3, identify the leadership. Okay. At that point in time, let's say I'm going to, what's another, California. So I'm going to California. And so talking about Roxy and Matt all the time, but in Roxy and Matt's group, I'm looking for leaders. I'm looking for people who have leadership traits. I'm looking to identify what Matt and Roxy may not be able to identify at this moment. Okay. I'm looking for, I'm talking about what these people's resumes are, what they've done, who's doing presentations, not who's necessarily recruiting, who's going out there getting deals, not necessarily people who are closing deals. I want to know who's doing what. Okay. Because I'm looking for the next leader. I need to if Matt and Roxy has to travel to Vegas, who's going to take care of the market when Matt and Roxy leaves? All right. Okay, so there's a chick named Angel. She's out there. She's doing big things. She's making things happen. She's doing presentations too. She just hadn't hit it big on the scene yet. Okay, so now that I've identified, Angel, she's bought in. She showed me those signs of buy-in. She promotes everything that the company does. She's on all of the trainings, right? And she sells out, and she promotes every visit by the leader when the leader comes in. Bingo. I found me somebody else that I can focus on now and invest some time into, besides Roxy and Matt. Now I can start to focus and pour into, Angel as well, while I'm edifying Roxy and Matt as her leader still. Okay, I'm giving her the bonus of working with me, the gift, the reward her for working with me, based on the fact that she's been so plugged in, so sold out. She's following everything that Matt and Roxy is saying without me ever having to intervene. But now I get to intervene based on the fact that Roxy and Matt talked about her. So that creates more and more loyalty between, and a connection between Matt and Roxy and Angel. So now Angel is now appreciative of the position that Matt and Roxy has put her in, right? Maxie. So again, that's number 3, right? And so you always find, because leaders talk. That's why we tell y'all all the time, guys, text your people. Hey, what nuggets did you get from the call? Right? Every call. Like I said, see who's on the calls. And when it comes to the excuses, guys, people are gonna always have excuses. Let them, you're looking for, that individual, that next individual. Because remember, those leaders they don't come down a dozen. They are very few and far in between. So when you find a person who's out there doing the work, they just haven't hit that moment where everything takes off for them and the results start coming in. Catch that person at that moment, because if you do, one, your next level leadership that's a little bit better than the person they're plugged into may be the thing that triggers it, or just getting a phone call or having some time to have a lunch with that individual when you visit that market can do something for that person, that when you leave, that impact is immeasurable. Okay, big time. And so number 4, okay, you want to make sure that you roll your sleeves up, get in the trenches, and help people go to Builder 2000. And you always want to find VPN. Back in my old company, it was Sapphire, and this company is Builder 2000. So break a Builder 2000. Okay, roll up your sleeves, go to work, find somewhere to set up shop and present all day. So now, if I find a person who's in that market, they're Builder 2000, but that person may not even be the reason why I'm there. They can be, but may not be at the same time. I'm rolling up my sleeves and hey, look, put some people in the room. I know I just did an event for the company and the whole entire group, but I want to do a special event for you. Put some people on a Zoom or have some people at my hotel room or whatever, and we'll talk whatever it is. You want to do something again a little bit special, a little bit more special, so a person get more bang for that trip on that, more bang for the buck on that trip, right? Let's see here, and at the same time while you're doing that, what you'll find is that you'll put so much value in that market by doing that they can't wait to have you back. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. But when you look at that math for Builder 2000 and how you helping these different pockets of people become Builder 500, Builder 1000, right? That math is beautiful math because again, in each one of those situations, you're helping somebody take the next step. You're helping somebody take the next level. And now those individuals will be the same individuals that will now invite, and build up enough numbers for you to come back. And that's how you start to explode the market by breaking those pins, but also by showing them that those with the type of impact those visits can actually have. Number 5, you want to validate and reinforce existing leadership. So this is where you also show people that they can't circumvent the leadership that's already in place. You want to go down there and double down. So if I'm going to New York, hey, Idris is the guy. Okay, hey, look, I'm here for Idris. Idris is the reason why I got here. He came, he made sure I made it here. Or when I go to Maryland, I might say Dr. Arlene, and she's the builder that got me here. She's Builder 2000. And I'm doubling down on the leader. I'm reinforcing my position at the leader. Now we can communicate, but we won't communicate, in lieu of your leader. Your leader will be in the loop, or they will be on the Zoom or whatever it is, because I don't do sidebar conversations, especially when they're about the leaders. Right? The other thing is this: when you have a resource that you can pull from in that market, but you come directly to me, that's not how we do business. The chain of solutions is you go through your market leader first, and then if they can't, solve that solution, to solve that challenge, then they'll get you on the phone with me, or they'll get you on the phone with the next leader in that chain of solutions. Okay, but don't let people disrespect you, and don't let people disrespect the people who you lead, because people always want to have this entitlement. They have this entitlement about being directly connected to the person with the information, the person who's being edified. No, that you have to earn that. We don't do entitlement. Okay. Let's see here. But this is also where you not only are validating, but you're show shadowing and you're duplicating. And that actually may be a meeting where, like a second or third meeting where you may actually even be the main meeting, you may be presenting with that individual. Okay. So they may do the first half, you do the second half. Okay. And so again, just depending on that person's skill set, where they are at that time, it can be a tag team situation. And so now when you're presenting with the expert, the edified expert, again, it puts you in a better position, puts them in a better position as well. So number 6, and the final one is, to prepare the market for the next level of leaders, right? To support you, put yourself in a position where you're going out there to, edify the next events. Make sure that people are plugging into the system, making sure that people are plugged in, are getting set up for the ultimate leaders to get there as well. Okay, you want to make sure you set that market up for an explosion. Okay, you want to make sure that you create a Builder 2000 factory or Builder 500 factory. You want to go out here, and that's, again, you're going out there to continue to create and expand the leadership market. It's not about volume. It's about you expanding the leadership market. Because that when you do that, it creates a solid foundation within your infrastructure that won't go away. If you only have one leader in that market and that one leader leaves for whatever reason, everybody leaves with that one leader. Okay. Or there's nobody left in that market to take care of the fledglings, the people who have been abandoned. Okay. You want to make sure that you go out there and build levels of leaders, down in depth, all the way down in depth, to where one, it fortifies that market, protects that market, allows that leader to lead, but becomes more attractive for the company to come and do big events in, right? Because if you have a growing market with a lot of leaders, the company says, okay, we need to be in Maryland. Okay, we need to be in Florida. Okay, we need to be in Denver, or based on, how you have it built out, because they know that's where the heat's going to come from. Yeah. So when it's all said and done, okay, you want to make sure, guys, that you have a goal to have leadership visits in your market, not just one time, but all the time. You want to force them to actually come back. Don't just come one time, but you want to force them with the results to come back over and over again. Also, hospitality, okay, how you take care of them when they come back, when people see that you really appreciate them when they're there. It's like, man, these people really know how to roll out the red carpet. These people really know how to take care leaders when they come through. And it has nothing to do with anything except for, again, showing gratitude, and however way you show it, where it can be received in a manner that people can't wait to come back. I've always had, and it doesn't matter what companies I was in, if a person came to my market, they didn't want for anything. We had people at the airport picking them up. They were there before the plane landed. They had signs with their name on it. We made them feel special. Some people, depending on how big the leader was, we had welcoming committees where we had 5, 10, 15 people. You were allowed to come and like you are a champion coming home from winning a Super Bowl. Okay? And people love that. Videos, photos, and then you might even, depending on the situation, you might have a meeting with the people at the airport, where you might have a little, a game plan session or a meeting session or something at a restaurant nearby, where people can come in and sit down. But it just depends on, and then when on the way out, you know, you got these meetings packed out. The room was full of people, bulging and busting out the seams, and all of a sudden, the enrollments came in, the utility bills came in, the water bill, the water sales came in, the recruiting and enrollments went up, and it kept going. And so all of a sudden, man, these people are like, I can't wait to get back to Oklahoma. I can't wait to get back, to you know Dallas, or wherever the heat is at, right? And so these are the reasons why leaders travel to markets, right? And that it's those reasons that you want to be aware of those, so you can attract the biggest and the best leaders to come to your market. Because when you have people speak on your behalf, third party credibility, there's nothing more solid than that. You can sit back. All you gotta do is get them there and sit back and let them do the work for you. Okay. So with that being said, going into this big event, and we want to make sure we got people who are out here presenting in these markets that we're going to, that you want me to come to. We want to make sure we got people who are recruiting, and people who are doing launch calls, people doing launch events, get the exposure happening right now, all through December. You want to create a big buzz right now. And January, again, every event, every weekend, except for the 17th, the weekend of the 17th is on the books, because that's my wife's weekend birthday. And so we always do something for her on her birthday weekend. But any other weekend or even during the week is available. So, but you can't get on that calendar until you put in the work and get the results and get the traction. Right now in the month of December, show us something and we'll give you a date. Show us something and we'll show up and we'll blow up. Show us something, go out there and get it happen. Coffee has said, by the way, Coffee is in Florida. She's having to speak at a funeral. But Coffee, as Coffee would say, it's show us that you can get it popping, and we'll come to your market and we'll make some things happen. Okay. So with that being said, guys, I'll be doing the Millionaire Mentorship Call on Monday night. You definitely want all your brand new people on there. There's going to be a special training for brand new people and people who want to learn how to launch brand new people as well. And so that, again, really, really key for what we're talking about when it comes to building something special going into the convention. Build the 2,000 pots, build the 8,000 for yourselves. That's going to be a very key training for you guys on Monday night. So the more people you get from your groups into that specific training, and for sales as well, the better you'll do. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I have 11 o'clock a.m. launch call for James Meadows. If you guys want to jump on, that's Central Standard Time, by the way. And other than that, you have Monday nights. Is it So who did it last? Was it Idris? Idris, you did Monday night, right? Last Monday?
Yeah.
All right. So then this Monday will be Angel. So make sure you guys are on with Angel on Monday night for role playing. Make sure you guys are going into the lounge, the Builders VIP Lounge. Make sure you're going into the Builders VIP Lounge, listening to those training calls through from Grant Cardone. But also, more importantly, make sure you get at least the Sell or Be Sold Grant Cardone book. You don't have to like his language. You don't have to like, some of his political stands. You don't have to like anything about the man. Just understand that it's not about that. It's about you learning something that he brings that you need. He doesn't need you to learn it. You need to learn it. Okay. So get out your feelings, get out your emotions, and get into business. Right. Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold, Chapter 20. Download it, listen to it today. If you can't find it for free on YouTube or something like that, it's out there. But make that your mantra right there. Kind of make that, the things that you do, listen to every day, multiple times a day, so you can hold yourself accountable because, and quite frankly, it's nobody else's job to do it but yours. But I can tell you that works, and that's one of the things that's been working for a lot of people who's followed him. So with that being said, guys, see you guys at the top, see you guys at the bank, see you guys at the beach. And for those who are jumping on at 11 o'clock at the top of the hour, I'll see you guys on the lunch call. So take care.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye for now. Work.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you, Mr. Bean.
Thank you.